Hey, is this thing on? Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel and another dose of self-improvement. Today we're going to be talking about reaching your dreams or creating a life that you love a little bit later in life. I have been seeing so many things on social media like, oh, I got my dream car by 23, I bought my home by 25, I traveled to my 8 top destination countries by 27, I found the love of my life at 21. All of that's amazing. Like if you can achieve those things early in life, that is wonderful, that is fantastic, and you should definitely do so. But what I don't want to see is that people who are in this position of being over 30 feeling like, wow, I missed my mark. I didn't do that in my 20s, and so now what? I'm stuck and this is the life that I've created. I gotta live with it. I gotta see it through. No, you don't. You are fully capable of changing your life in your 30s and well beyond. When you think about creating the life of your dreams, I don't want you to think that it's too late. Like at this point, let's say you're 35, you still got more life left than you have already lived, and you have life left that you actually have control over. When you were little, when you were a child, when you were under your parents' roof, you couldn't really just do whatever you wanted to do. So now you're in a position where you get to build a life that you love and create that from the ground up. So spoiler alert, I'm going to answer the question already. No, it is not too late to achieve your dream life. And even more so, like I want to be an example for you. This video, I'm probably gonna be going back and forth between advice that I'm giving to you and then also like sharing my personal experience of where I am in life and where I want to go as well. So currently I am 32 years old and I feel like I am in the prime of my life right now. Doesn't mean I can't have another prime, but I am just so happy with how everything has fallen into place. And I know that because of the work I've put in, I've been able to get to this point. So of course, I'm gonna unlock it. I'm gonna share the formula with all of you today. Really focus on how this year, my word of the year is elevation. So how I'm elevating my dream woman, my dream life, and also the journey that I took to get to this point. So let's break down the formula. I've decided to break this formula down into 6 separate categories that I feel like have definitely impacted me and helped me or supported me or guided me on my journey to creating my dream life. Career, relationships, finances, home, confidence, and self-care. So we know I'm the career girl, so we're gonna start off with career, of course. Knowing what your end goal is, what that big picture for your career is going to be extremely helpful in making sure that you can reach your full potential while you're creating a career that supports a life that you love. If you know what your end goal is and where you want to be at the end, then it's going to help you fill in those pieces and design and map out a journey to get to that point. Being in your 30s does not mean that you should just give up. Like, man, I've been in this industry, in this career for about 10 years now. That's kind of it. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm stuck. I can't make any changes. Absolutely not. There is no reason why you should have a job or a career that you hate. There are too many people out here hiring for you to be stuck in a position that does not work for you. So again, go back to that point where you're designing what that big picture looks like for yourself. Set up sustainable and attainable goals and work to reach each of them. Set up the adjustments, the changes, the extra training, anything that you may need in order to reach that final goal. Even if you only get to do that career for 15 years before you have to retire, at least those 15 years weren't spent doing something that you hate. So go ahead and make the change. I promise you, from personal experience, I know that this is worth it. Sometimes I just have days where I'm like, wow, I can't believe that this is my life. I get to life coach, I get to career coach, I get to create content on YouTube, and I love every single piece of it. But if I was in that mindset of, well, I was in the education industry for so long, I kind of built that direction, then I would still be there and I would still hate it. Honestly, I stayed so long because I was like, well, what else am I supposed to do? But that's a limiting belief, and we can't have that. I am so glad that I made the change. Let's see, I was, I think 30. Oh no, maybe like my late 20s when I made the shift over to coaching or started that journey. And it wasn't too late. I'm so glad I did it. Like every single day when I wake up and have autonomy over my schedule and I get to do things that I love, I am so grateful that I just went for it and tried something new and didn't put myself in this box that I felt had been created for me. So the next category to making sure that you're creating this dream life, even if you are 30 and beyond, is relationships. So first things first, do not succumb to society's pressures. If you are in a place in life where you feel like, I don't want to be married yet, I don't want to have kids yet, or at all, those are things that are perfectly fine and decisions that you can make for yourself. But I also don't want you to fall into the trap of kind of like suppressing your feelings and your true desires because of what other people say. If someone's like, oh, well, yeah, she's just a girl that wants to be married and be a wife. Okay, then I'm just a girl who wants to be married and be a wife. And that's what I'm going to do. Don't let anyone's opinion of what your life should look like dictate the choices that you make. If marriage is something that you desire, okay, be honest with yourself. Now, don't make that a focus and just like literally like zone in on I have to be married, because that is definitely not healthy either. But if you know that it's something that you want, then you can do things to start working on yourself to make sure that you are ready for marriage and ready to be a supportive mate when that time comes. But you can also start moving into that direction. You don't have to like get in this mold of what everyone assumes you should be or what you should be doing. Deciding to fully blend your life with someone is a huge decision. And then deciding to bring other little people into that life is an even bigger decision. So make them wholeheartedly based on what you want, what your values are, what's important to you, before you allow anything to trickle in and try to make an impact on your decision. You do not owe anything to anyone besides yourself to really be solidified and certain that you are working toward your dream life, not a dream life that has been created for you. The next category we're going to get into is confidence. I feel like my confidence is the highest it has ever been in my 30s. Like, I know myself. I know I'm that girl. I know I'm that woman. I know that I am that everything. And getting to this point, I'm not gonna lie, like I've never really struggled with confidence because my mom has always instilled confidence in me like from infancy, but I know that that has not been the case for everyone. But I see how like being confident and being sure of yourself has benefited me so much in life, and I want that for other people. At the end of the day, like what helps me in my confidence is knowing like I gotta do me. I have to do what's best for me. If I have to set up this boundary, the boundary is going up, because I know that that is going to benefit me overall. It is too easy, even subconsciously, for other people's ideas and opinions to just start seeping in, or you'll be like, well, everyone else is doing that, so maybe I should do that too. No, if it's what you want to do, sure. But especially like with social media now, I think that everyone shares a lot of their life, and sometimes we can easily be like, wow, but that's not what my life looks like. Yeah, because it's your life. It's not supposed to look exactly like someone else's, but you get to curate the perfect setup for yourself. And that piece of knowing like, yeah, this is my decision. This is something that I feel secure and sure about is going to really elevate your confidence because you have done it on your own. You have sat down, you have planned everything out, you have assessed certain situations, and you have made a decision to benefit yourself. And when you see how that decision pays off, it is the best feeling, and your confidence only continues to grow from there. Next up, we are going to talk about home. So a lot of people are like, oh, my dream home. And I think it's great to have a dream home in mind. I actually do like my home so much, and we're doing some home projects right now, and it feels great because it's like, this is my house. I can do whatever I want. I can make changes. I mean, I share with my husband, but he lets me do a lot of the decorating. So I can make changes. I can make the space look how I want it to look. Now, do I know if this is my dream home? Maybe not necessarily. Have I always lived in a home that I really love? No. Well, I loved where I lived, but it wasn't like everything that I felt like I wanted in a home. But even then, I still had control over it. So even if you're not in your dream home yet, use the space that you have and start creating pieces and pockets of your dream within that space. Because when you do get your dream home, you don't want to like start from scratch or like only go based on what other people are thinking. You want to like build your own thing, like go from your own ideas, from your own experiences, what you want in a home. And so you've got to start now in the space that you have, making little changes, doing DIY projects, and figuring out what you want your home to be, and having those like special spots in your space regardless of if it's your dream home or not. Now, of course, if you're like, yeah, I've made those spaces, like I'm vibing with it, this is really cool, but like I'm still like, I have a goal, I want to get my dream home. That is completely fine. Use the time where you're not there yet to do your research. Try different places, figure out where you want to live, where you want to own property at. Like look at taxes, look at different property ownership laws, zoning, everything that could impact your life long term. You get to kind of inspect that and do that research before you committed to it. Also, it's so important to look into the work that it takes to become a homeowner. Credit is a big piece of it. If you know that, start building your credit now. Start your savings account. Build and grow toward the direction that you want to be in that dream home that's going to contribute to your dream life, but also don't neglect appreciating where you're at right now. Next up, we are going to be talking about finances in relation to your dream life. Just because your finances started a mess or have become a mess does not mean that they have to stay a mess. You can take control. Create a plan, follow that plan, and see how that is going to benefit you. The implementation is that important piece. We can all make a plan, we can all make a budget. Like, oh, look at my spreadsheet, it's so great. But did you follow your spreadsheet? If you know your budget is this, why are you spending that? So definitely when you make that plan, you have to follow it in order to see the growth and the impact that it's going to make on your personal finances. I always suggest to try to avoid unnecessary debt. Like bigger purchases, yes, you may have debts for those things, but like credit card debt and that small debt that starts to build up, it's so easy to get into, but you have to make sure that you can also get yourself out of it. Do not adopt the mentality of, oh, well, it's just another bill. If you use credit cards for points, cool. Yeah, that's just another bill. You pay it off, you get your points, you get your perks. But if it's like you've used it to buy all this stuff and now you're working toward paying it off, you don't always want to have that. You know, you want to get to the space where that money can be allocated for something else that may be more important, and you don't have this extra unnecessary bill in your life. When you don't owe someone else, you really have the ability to move freely with your money and make financial decisions based on abundance rather than lack. And that is definitely going to benefit you as you build your dream life. And finally, our last category that is so important when you are building your dream life is that of self-care. Taking care of yourself, I feel like, becomes so much more important as you get older because you get busier and it's so much easier to neglect, and the first thing to go is how you care for yourself. Now, I don't just mean the like surface level things like massages and facials and like taking good naps and bubble baths. Like, I love all those things. Those are fantastic and great, but I want you to think about the self-care internally. Your heart, your mind, your body. How are you supporting yourself? A big thing for me in my 30s has just been protecting my peace. And that may offend some people, especially like if that's not how you've always been. They're like, oh, well, you switched up on me. You're trying to be something that you're not, or what's the difference? You used to be cool with this, now you're not. Yeah, because it's called growth. So there may have been a point in my life where I allowed certain things that I simply can't tolerate anymore. Like, I am too grown to be wrapped up in this mess. And I feel like that definitely ties back to the confidence piece, because at this point in my life, I have to make the decisions that are the best for me and not to appease anyone else. And I also feel like too during this time, mental health resources are available to so many more people in so many different avenues. Like before it was kind of like, oh, you can have a therapist or a psychiatrist. But it's like, oh, you could have a therapist, you could have a psychiatrist, you could have both, you could have a life coach, you could go to different groups. There are options for you. And I mean, there's virtual appointments now. There's like chat appointments where like you just like send text messages and connect with someone who can support you in that way. Use the resources. When you are grown, you have more time and more finances to allocate toward getting support that you need to continue to live your best life. So definitely invest in that. Find the support system that you need, because you inside is going to reflect on the outside. Like, when I have gone through it, I look how I feel. And I don't want to look bad and I don't want to feel bad. And so if I feel great, then I can look great and I can be great, which is just such an amazing feeling of knowing like, wow, I took control and I was able to make these changes that have made me feel great in my life. And I'm enjoying my dream life while also expanding that dream as I continue to grow, as my circumstances continue to change. And just accepting that this is a journey, but it's a beautiful journey. And a lot of the direction of where my life goes depends on me and what I'm doing. And these 6 areas are like just so important to that formula for me of really building that dream life, because I know if I keep these in order, I'm gonna be all right, and you are gonna be all right too. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this was a helpful weekly dose of self-improvement. Definitely comment down below what's one of the areas where you feel like you are working and growing and really working toward that dream life in that section. Please share that in the comments below, and also thumbs up this video. We got to get more people to see the content that I am sharing so that they can build a formula for their dream life as well. I'll see you all in the next one. Like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Affirmations with Amber.